Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Hadad. I'm originally from Brazil but have been living in Ireland since March 2007. I learned NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Programming, also life and business coaching techniques in Brazil. In Ireland, I achieved a diploma in psychology, KQI Level 4 Personal Effectiveness, and I also applied suicide intervention skills training by HSC. In 2012, I opened my own clinic in Longford, helping Irish people with various issues such as relationships, low self-esteem, and even suicidal tendencies. I became so involved with my work that before moving to Killarney, the place where I now reside, I decided to write a book, The Secret Box Find the Key. Use my clients' stories and experiences as the characters in the book. I also included some of my own experiences, which it made it for me to convey emotions and learn about each experiences, which helped my clients to find solutions to their own problems. Maria had problems with romance and relationships, but as the therapy sessions progressed, she realized that her difficulties stemmed from issues she's experienced throughout her childhood, rather than an inability to form relationships as an adult. This includes all relationships, be it how to relation to others, to society, family, love, and especially to herself, and how she managed to break barriers. You're going to find this workshop how Maria she's broke all the barriers in her life to find her own key and especially found herself, and so do I, and hopefully you find your own key and you find who you are. Come with us and I hope you enjoy it.
Understanding the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life graphs identifies aspects of our own life and how it represents the key areas of our lives. In the Wheel of Life graph, you are marked from 0 to 10. I copied this Wheel of Life from the Metargy website as it is appropriate and fully completed. In this Wheel of Life, we're going to have 1 to 10 as you can see. In Maria's case, right in the first chapter of the book, she reveals issues about family rejection or insecurity in the face of the upbringing received from her parents. She'll be required to mark scores between 1 to 5 in love life, this sector. Automatically in her health sector, she would also potentially have some problems because if we have issues in one area of the wheel, it's likely we also have difficulties in all the sectors of the wheel. So she also gonna have the problem here. The wheel of life, it needs to be balanced. So for example, you're gonna mark that for yourself. All the scores above 5, it's okay. Sometimes you can have a little bit of gap. For example, spirituality, 7, money, 8, career, 6, health, 7, fun, 7, environment, 6. It's okay because it's not really big gap. Cannot happen in the wheel of life. You have 10, 3, 7. So then you're gonna have a problem in your own lives. But how should you do this when you have issues with third parties? In the case of relationships, loving, family, and society. Does anyone know how to balance the wheel of life? Just thinking for a few seconds. In order for us to understand a little bit better about the wheel of life, it needs to be aligned and balanced, as I said. But how are we going to do it? You have to find who you are. Who are you? Who we are will make a big difference to our lives with others. Or values. When I say values, I mean respect, love, tranquility, loyalty, honest, and a list with more than 50 types of values. For those who do not know the main core values, I will send the list by email if you so wish. You just message me. There is no problem. I can send to you. The core values will define the principles of your characteristics. In general, we have more than one main value. But if you feel that your core values you touch your heart, it's really funny, but it's true. And you say to yourself, this is my value. In Maria's case, her values were respect and love, as were mine. However, in the course of life, our values will change. I believe that today, my main core values are respect and honesty. Culture. Culture where you're born, customs, traditions, etc., or roots. Religion. Religion is a very important aspect of our personality. It gives us some beliefs, be it positive or limiting beliefs. But if you're atheist, that's fine too. At least you know who you are. Social class. Social class will bring us security or insecurity, depending with whom we relation to. For example, in Maria's case, she was born in the upper middle class and saw her father gaining and losing money quickly. The relationship with money will be a problem for her. She witnessed her parents fighting over money, bringing another belief about money and a loving relationship. So she decided to marry a boy from a lower class than her. To into her maturity, think they will not fight over money, which fortunately, as it turned out, ended up not happening, and they separate in harmony. In reality, social class matters for different aspects of our lives. For example, if you are better than your friends and you fancy to have an expensive dinner and you know your friends cannot afford to pay for it, you automatically buy their dinner. You can buy once, but if you buy every time, you feel used by them, and also they might feel uncomfortable as they also have their own principles in life. Family. Family forms our personalities. It gives us characteristics of security, beliefs, stability, education, limiting beliefs. In Maria's case, her parents caused her so many limiting beliefs, as well insecurity. I believe that this occurs in some or almost all families. A family education never be perfect because none of us are perfect. We can be sure that our parents did their best because if you are in their position, maybe would do the same ourselves. We have to be aware that you're just human beings and we learn to forgive them. And those you have gone halfway towards our evolutions as humans. Forgiveness does not need to be spoken or expressed to others. Forgiveness is internal. It's when we put ourselves in the place of others and ask ourselves, if I were my father's or mother's position. Our parents also had an education, trauma, beliefs, etc. In a good conscience, a father and mother will never want anything bad for their own child. Of course, there were exceptions when the parents have psychological issues such as mental health. It becomes even easier to forget and forgive them. Limiting beliefs. Beliefs, as the name says, in everything you believe in. Beliefs can be positive and or negative. The negative ones we can also call limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are composed of traumas due to several factors family, society, relationship, etc., generating beliefs. For example, in the case of Maria, when her mother said, if I'm not happy, you'll not be happy also. There always a blockage because she saw her mother was devastated and imagined that could not ever be happy in any relationship she would ever have. She did not live in the present relationship, but rather chose that there would always be an end, because her father had abandoned her mother and rejected her also. Even if it was a short moment of rejection for a trauma that seems an eternity, that's why they are blocked. She usually chose the most complicated people to relate to because in her subconscious she would know there would be a lot of effort, challenge, disruption. Positive beliefs that I mentioned are what you positively think. For example, people who believe in God, there will always be a hope. Self esteem generates positive beliefs. The years passed by, and Maria started to believe in herself more. She started knowing herself and to be sure that she could be happy with or without any kind of a relationship. Living more today, break the beliefs of waiting to live the future rather than present. Now she has more certainty about whom she wants to share her life with. Ideology is not the gender ideology. I tell about the gender ideology and sexuality. The ideology that I'm talking about is a conscious social, origin ideas, economic, political, religious theories and policies, in a tradition going back to Karl Marx and created by Anthony de Stuyvesant Tracy in 1796, where he defends the science of ideas. The type of ideology for many people might not be very important, but when we live in another culture, for example, for Marie and I, who live in another country like in Ireland, where the predominant ideology is conservative, their thinking is limited. Whereas my type of ideology is modern feminism, because I believe that women have a fundamental role in society, that they have the same rights as men. There are different types of ideologies, societies, such as liberalism, socialism, conservatism, and etc. The difference between ideologies will always bring a conflict, the same as political parties and religions. Addictions. Addictions generally we are mirror selves in our creation. Sometimes we copy the addictions of our parents, be them cigarette, drink, drugs, sex, gambling, etc. What happens is that we neither have one of the addictions or we abhor them. All of us human beings have some kind of addiction. But as I always say, we either control our addictions or our addictions will control us. Trauma. I had already mentioned how to organize a trauma and understand how this actually happened. But as our life goes on, time doesn't stand still. Traumas can be caused by depression, panic syndrome, post stress traumatic disorder, lack of esteem. Sexuality. Our sexuality is very important. Sometimes it's our choice, and sometimes it's biological. If you are straight, bisexual, or homosexual, it's about us accepting who we are. facing society, but it's also to make sure that our happiness does not matter to anyone except ourselves. Education. When I say education, I mean not just education, but our culture level, our limitations in dealing with the public, and in knowing that you often will be more intelligent than others, and also sometimes other people be more intelligent than us. As my personal effectiveness teacher, Larry Harton, used to say, and I learned two things from her. First, you be always be someone better than us. And the second, burn your ego before it burns you. We are here to learn from each other. The people we think are intellectually inferior are the wisest and the most sensible people we come across. Health, I left until last to close with the gold key. Our mental and physical health will always be a foundation because without health or will of life, we have a gap in other sectors. If you're healthy, look in the mirror with a big smile and feel privileged to have something so precious. Let's move on to the next slide. Often us human beings make a mess in our head. We absorb so much junk in a way that you think, and now. You don't even understand how, when, and why it started, right? You know when your wardrobe is completely messy, when sometimes you cannot move a piece of clothes and the rest might fall apart. So what happened? We take all the clothes of our wardrobe so we can organize everything again, and we often even donate clothes that you're just there taking up space, right? So it's happened with us. So here's the slide of the labyrinth of life. You and your problem, which might not even be a problem like that. Believe me, sometimes you need just to adjust things and replace or remove things that are not important to us. How many problems do you think was a problem, but in fact it was just a life experience? It's true, isn't it? So, does a problem usually have a solution? Yes. If the problem has no solution, there is always a solution, but you just have not found it yet. And if this problem was from another person, and how would it help him or her? Depend what the problem is. Writing our own problems help ourselves to see if it's important or not important to us. Alternatively, talk to profession. It is very important. And if you are just excited, so by anxiety or panic, you talk to the mirror. You probably think it's mad to talk to yourself, but only you know your needs, disappointment, and frustration in life. I also recommend it to all my clients. Put a mirror in front of them and ask the questions. So, put the mirror in front of you, ask the question to yourself in a calm environment. Put some candle, incense, whatever you feel like you're comfortable in yourself. Meditate, close your eyes, relax, take deep breaths. You definitely gonna find your own answers. So the answers always will appear in your mind. It is calm, but you have just meditate and relax. Difference between cultures. When I say about a different culture, some people might have xenophobia. Xenophobia is a fear or hatred of the organized to be foreign or strange. It's expression of a judged conflict between different group or nationality. However, the most important thing is how can you deal with the difference? Now you know who you are. Also, we are here to learn from each other, exchange the experiences that might be interesting from different cultures, and why not be open to learn from others? For example, sometimes we travel abroad to see different cultures, food, traditions, and etc. And why not accept your neighbor and ask him or her about their own culture? You'll definitely see things outside of the box. Frequently, we come across foreign accents which might be difficult for natives to understand. But if you are abroad, they might think the same about you. Just be patient. Do you know these people are trying their best to communicate with you? In Maria's case, and even my own, and many foreign people feel it sometimes very difficult to fit in because some people can have very narrow minds to accept and adapt to different nationalities as it might bring frustration and disappointment. After a while, we, the foreigners, have to ignore the haters and only engage with the people who are interested in getting to know us. Let's be open and learn from each other. Some big companies like Apple, Google, IBM, etc., accepted that having a variety of workers from different countries enable them to view things from outside of the box.
Thank you for watching my workshop. Hopefully you have learned something which assists you in your future development and self-knowledge. If you did not approach the secret box Find the Key, you can find it on my website, michellehadad.com, on an Amazon page, which both I'm going to leave the link in the description. Hope you like it and look for the feedback. Once again, thank you and mind yourself.